Hello, cooking enthusiasts. This week's video is going to be relatively quick and a little bit different. As you can tell from the title of the video, I've made something that I am calling Flaming Hot Pesto, and that is a pesto slash sauce that replicates the flavor of a flaming hot Cheeto. I'm a big fan of Bon Appetit and Good Mythical Morning, and on several occasions they replicate junk food, or at least replicate the flavor profile of a junk food. So initially, I was just going to make my own attempt at replicating the flaming hot Cheeto powder and then incorporating it into other dishes myself. Now, honestly, I have most of the ingredients on hand that I would probably need to do this, with a few exceptions, and I obviously am not concerned about using artificial or heavily processed ingredients. But the more I thought about it, the more I decided I didn't want to just make the powder myself, because at that point it would just be kind of an academic exercise. So I decided to set myself the challenge of replicating the flavor profile of a flaming hot Cheeto, but with relatively normal ingredients. Again, I'm not above just doing an academic exercise, but I do like to occasionally make the recipes I do accessible, and that is another reason I decided to challenge myself to use relatively normal ingredients. I also endeavored to make it relatively short on ingredients, but the flavor profile necessitated some complexity. The base of the pesto is vinegar, lightly roasted red peppers, and raw but rinsed onion. On top of that goes mostly cheddar with a little bit of Parmesan for extra savoriness. I used sharp cheddar, but a medium cheddar would probably work better. And then I think a key component to getting the flavor profile correct is using some kind of relatively moderate red chili flake. I used Korean chili flakes, and balancing that with a decent amount of white pepper. White pepper is probably the only real specialty ingredient that you need, but I do enjoy it as a spice, and I don't think black pepper would work. Finally, you want to balance all of that with salt, sugar, and lemon juice to taste. And you do want to use at least a little bit of the lemon juice, because the powder contains both acetic acid and citric acid, so you want both types of acidity in the pesto. In terms of process, everything pretty much just gets blended together, and then it's just tasting and adjusting. Of course, the amounts I've listed are very much a blueprint open to adjustment. I think this version of the recipe is very close when it's freshly made, but as it sits in the fridge, the flavor balance goes a little bit off. If you want to future-proof your mixture, I would make it saltier, sweeter, and a little less spicy than you think it should be. Even if it's not a perfect match, it's still a pretty delicious condiment either way, and would work especially well incorporated into dishes that are already cheesy. As I mentioned, I will probably make a second attempt eventually, so please let me know if you have any suggestions. Also, feel free to leave any questions you have in the comments. Otherwise, thank you for watching.